Hey, Ross.
What's up, George?
What's Anthony doing here? Didn't you give him the memo that I fired him?
I never got that memo.
Hey, Will.
Yes, George.
Stop eating that burrito and tell me why Anthony's here. Didn't you give him that message that he's fired?
You never gave me the memo, George.
Hey, Anthony.
Good morning, George. I hope you're having a blessed day.
I forgot to give everybody the memo to give to you that you were fired.
What?
Yeah, but, did you bring any food?
No.
Did you bring any beer?
Not to work.
Alright, I guess you can stay. One more show, we'll see how it goes.
I'm not giving your stapler back.
Don't forget to file your TPS reports.
Yeah. Hang on to your TPS reports and staplers, people. You just joined Super Geeks. All right.
That could have gone better.
See, that's why he was fired. He didn't stop the music fast enough.
I like the music. I don't know what you're talking about. You're missing out.
No, I know, but when I say all right, you're supposed to let it kind of disappear.
Yeah, okay.
You're usually better about it.
Dude, I just got off 103 fever.
All right,
I went from zombie to human again.
Well, at least you're alive, so I guess we'll let that go. And besides, I might get sued if I get rid of you.
That's right. You can't get rid of crippled people.
I'll just have to dock your pay. Oh, wait a minute, you don't get paid.
Then you can get rid of him, because he's not on the page. He's not
If I start paying, then I'll leave him out of it. Oh, yeah, so Ross and Anthony, we were sorry you guys couldn't make it to the episode we did Saturday for the 50th anniversary. But it went pretty well. I think some of these guys might be coming back for future episodes. They weren't totally turned off.
That sounds like you guys had a good time.
Yep, definitely. Some of the stories they told were fascinating. I didn't realize Carlos was had his fingers in certain pies in the past. One of my favorite shows, Star Trek: Hidden Frontiers, that had some awesome stuff over the years. I didn't know he was involved in that. And Adam told some interesting stories about his when he watched the towers fall for 9/11, and he was doing model prop work and stuff and artistic stuff in New York at the time, and he lost his place of work went under because of what happened at the towers.
Ouch.
Yeah, it was interesting stuff. Even Sun had some things that were relevant, which was cool. Anyways, no, I'm just kidding. She didn't. Joking again. I'm just getting myself buried more.
And failing.
I know. I love it. It's like, she has some relevant things to say.
Just let him dig his own grave. I mean, let's just let him keep on digging.
Tap your mic. Is this thing on? You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, can you hear that?
Like a floundering comedian at a comedy club.
That's me. There's a guy on America's Got Talent that'll not America's Got Talent. No, it is America's Got Talent, and Simon Cowell kept saying yes to him. Heidi Klum hated the guy. He was the worst. He's this. I think it's Russian. He's been on the show auditioning twice, but finally he got through. His specialty is telling stupid jokes, but they're so stupid the way he tells them that they're funny. And Simon Cowell is like, his jokes are not so unfunny that they're funny, and I think that's my specialty. Oh wait, no. Anthony would say they're not even funny.
I don't have to say it. No one's laughing.
I know. I gotta get a laugh track. And that's why they have those. Anyways, so how's everybody doing this week?
Good.
A lot better than last week.
You weren't here last week. I mean, you were just
I was not.
gone.
I don't even know where I was.
You had one foot in the grave.
I was in the grave, dude.
You were looking up.
I was looking up. I'm like, how the fuck
It was buried up to his chest.
Oops, excuse my language, but how the heck do I get out of here?
I know.
I was 6 feet down. I'm like, I need something. What is that thing that looks like a railroad track to get me out of here? I couldn't even think of a ladder.
I had all these people contacting me saying, hoping that you'd bite the bullet enough, or at least be sick enough to not return, so they could take your place as one of the regular hosts. And they're like, "Is he gone yet? Is he gone yet?" And I'm like, "No chance."
There is no stopping them joining this show with us.
And I'm like,
just to vie for my position.
And I'm like, "No, Shell."
It's an open it's an open casting call.
I'm like, he's
Wasn't
still kicking.
Shell originally a host of this show?
Yeah, she'll be back. She's had a lot of things going on.
It's been so long, I've almost forgotten.
Yeah, she was there for the first episode.
And this is episode 29?
Well, she's now on California
32.
time, right?
No, technically it's technically higher, but it's technically it's a long story. It's episode 29 as far as officially. There was because I screwed up and said it was episode 28 during that special Saturday, and the actual episode 28 wasn't that interesting anyway, so I decided to just push that episode aside and put it up. I'm going to air it, but I'm not putting a regular number on it. So I made this episode 29.
And we've got the missing episodes where you were too drunk to be coherent.
I gotta still see if I have it. I gotta dig around for which episode that was. I wish I had a rough idea of when it was. I know it was in the single-digit numbers, I think.
I think it was 5.
You think it was 5? But how would you know it never aired?
It's because it's one of the ones I wasn't there.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And we still kept counting the numbers after it.
Process of elimination. Okay. All right. Well, I'm George, one of your hosts. You can find me at Chooch99A on Twitter. And with this, I would say as always, but he's only just coming back after a hiatus. I think you missed, 2 episodes, Magnum? Magnum?
I love how you say hiatus. Dude, I was dying. I was literally dying medically.
The show must go
on. I wasn't on hiatus. If I was on hiatus, my ass would have been over like in Bali or down in Belize or something. Dude. But no, I was literally in the grave trying to scratch my way out. It reminded me of that Kill Bill where she came out of the grave. Yeah, that's what happened to me.
That dude who played Spartacus on HBO or Showtime or whatever it was, he was dying of cancer when he was filming, and he never complained.
Yeah, that's because he was getting paid.
Who needs money if you're going to be dead?
If he's going to be dead, why is he going to be on the show?
The family.
Yeah, all right, you got a point.
See, you're not going to get one over on me, George. Sorry. But I'm here. You can follow me on Twitter at Anthony Battles.
Still haven't fixed that little twitch you got.
The Twitter will help you.
What Twitch?
Twitter. Oh, God,
Twitter?
I can't stand that.
Why do you think I say it, Will?
I know. Just...
Yeah, Twitch is something else. And Will, where can people find you?
On Twitter, at Intrinsicus. That's Intrinsic with a US on the end.
And Ross?
You can find me at www.iliveloveplay.com. Super Geeks is a Live Love Play podcast produced in association with Busy Little Beaver Productions.
All right. So before we get into the actual show notes, Ross, tell us about, there's something going on with the BioWare audition that you're going to be partaking in. Tell us about that.
So this morning, BioWare released a statement saying that they are looking for 2 fans to fill 2 roles in the upcoming Mass Effect Andromeda. They are accepting submissions from their websites. The auditions are available the scripts are available to the public for audition, may be submitted either in audio or video format. The people who will be selected will be flown to BioWare Studios and give their performances in a professional setting, and of course, they will be paid.
Sweet. And I'm assuming that if you're picked, you'll be flying out to Texas to where they're headquartered, because they usually want people in the studio for the
They will fly them to their studios to record at their studio.
Yeah, which is in Austin, Texas, I believe. Cool.
And I'm going to be all over that.
Well, yeah, I used to go to Austin every weekend when I was stationed at Fort Hood. It's an awesome place to be, even just for the hell of it. Good party place. All right, so that sounds just great. Now, Andromeda is what, number 5 in the series?
It is It is the fourth game in the Mass Effect universe, but it is not a direct sequel of the original Mass Effect trilogy. It takes place aboard a ship that is going to the Andromeda Galaxy, hence Andromeda. And it will follow Ryder, the instead of Shepard. It's two new characters, and instead of being a choice of either male or female, you are choosing between one sibling or the other with twins.
But probably male-female, right?
One is male, one is female.
So it's still male-female.
Yes, but instead of choosing either or, the story will continue with the other siblings still contributing, except you will be playing one or the other.
Right. It sounds similar to the way Dragon Age did. Number 2 is you're a Hawk no matter who you pick as the last name. That's your family name.
That's BioWare's deal. They did it with Dragon Age. It was Shepard in the original Mass Effect series.
Cool. I'm sure that Shepard will be mentioned at least. Does it take place like...
Ross, give us your voice. Let's hear your voice. Come on. Give me some lines.
Well, give me a minute. I'll bring up the script and give it a shot.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I like to hear it.
Listen, save that for after we get through the regular news. I want to have that be the last segment where Ross does a live read.
But we're talking about it, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Go ahead. If you can pop it up soon.
If you could pop it up soon. Come on, Ross. No pressure,
All right,
man.
1 second.
Just pop it up. Just pop it up.
I'm just kidding. We get time.
Keep trying.
I'm trying to find out where I downloaded the damn thing.
Do a search.
Click it. Oh, Lord.
That's all right. I'll just open up.
No, but that's exciting for fans, especially if you play the, BioWare games or Mass Effect, to actually have the opportunity to voice a character. What is like amazing, right? So it's a dream come true for some people.
Well, not only that, but if he gets the gig, it's in his permanent portfolio for future possible work. Yeah,
exactly. Video game voiceovers are hard, so if you get that on your resume, that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and me and Ross and Yuga and you two are all
Can you imagine like us doing it, right? George would be like, yeah, my name is so and so, I need a beer. Or Will saying, "Get off my lawn, you dirty kids!" So
He'll be like, "Let me eat your brain," because you're a freaking zombie.
No, you go, "No mac and cheese. That's poor people food."
That's poor people food. That would be my whole audition right there.
I hope you get paid in mac and cheese.
Can we pay you in mac and cheese?
Or the commissary, when you're at the studio, the commissary's got nothing but mac and cheese.
If they told you you have to eat a small bowl of mac and cheese before you could do the read, would you do it? Otherwise, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't even take that.
No,
even if it would be on your resume.
I'm not even going to submit anything
job,
to this.
And you can become a major star from this. This is your launching platform for your career.
Nope.
Okay, I've got it up. There are two characters that they want people to read forward. One is Jordan Tate, a smart and talented indie documentarian eager to give the real perspective on life in Andromeda. There's also Tough Mercenary, and in the scene you'll be talking about some of the difficulties of living on the frontier and being pioneers in a new world.
I'd go for the first guy. You don't sound like Tough Mercenary.
Isn't Jordan Tate a chick?
It can go either way. Jordan can be a guy or a girl's name.
Oh, okay. Do the mercenary, though. That sounds more exciting.
That's what I was thinking. Alright, I've got the script up.
Go for it.
I got a great deal on the gear we salvaged from the crash. Here's your share. You said we'd split the take evenly. It's even. Do the math. I've got a family. You don't. This isn't fair. We agreed to split the profits 50-50. How you feed your family is your problem. I just keep thinking, what if I hadn't left the capital? Maybe I have to worry about where my kid's next meal comes from out here. We're doing better than some. But I worry that one day I'll come across Sanders and find my kids murdered.
I think you should give him...
you should stick with the science dude, the nerdy dude.
I think you should give him Tourette's and improvise. You should give him a Tourette's thing, not swearing, but have every so many words have him meow like a cat. Meow.
That's not in the script.
I know. After
there's a lot more to the script, but that's enough for now.
That sounds pretty good.
Well, which one did you say, Will? You should do.
You should do the nerdy one. Was that
the documentarian?
I'm assuming that was the one that you just read.
No,
was the other guy.
The one I just read was Tough Mercenary and Worried Mercenary.
Yeah, you don't sound like a mercenary in that one.
This I'll give you a snippet from the Jordan Tate one. Writer, isn't it? Jordan Tate, freelance vidmaker. Superintendent Drakes asked me for an uplifting documentary about our efforts. Translation: paint rainbows over all our problems. But people deserve the truth, not propaganda.
Yeah, that's the guy that you want to do.
Yeah, that's what you want to voice that with your voice.
You want to voice that. You will not get the mercenary.
The mercenary guy. You didn't sound like you were. You kept.
Your voice is too high. You need to get a gravelly tone.
You didn't sound tough enough.
I gotta sound something more like this, huh?
Smoke a couple of cigars, take a couple of shots of whiskey, and then
don't give a care about crap.
You sound more authentic as the other guy with his enthusiasm.
But you definitely sound like the documentarian.
Yeah,
I agree.
The enthusiasm comes through.
Yeah, it's sort of like that Jimmy Olsen type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not the Batman v Superman Jimmy Olsen who got shot in the face.
No, just Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, you're that Jimmy Olsen.
The gosh, Miss Lane. Yeah.
Superman will come by and talk about his hair.
You actually almost sounded the way Heath did it in that commercial. That's funny. You've been listening to he's been streaming Bat Radio on his Liveloveplay, so that's probably why he has it in his head.
So you guys are telling me I can't sound tough?
No,
pretty much.
Not with that read through. Not the one you just did. You'd have to practice
Ross,
with it.
I'm gonna admit, I'm just gonna go out there and just help you out. Yeah, you don't sound tough.
Ross, remember, sometimes an actor,
everyone else is gonna stroke your manhood for you.
A lot of times, an actor in this, like for example, Denise Crosby went in for the role of Troy, and Marina Sirtis went in for the role of Yar, and they ended up deciding that they both should be the other character. Just once they started reading, they felt that they fit more to the other character. It's kind of like that. You started with the mercenary, but when you played the other guy, when you started talking, as if I was casting you, it just sounds more natural. Your voice tone and everything changed when you start off trying to sound tough. You kind of regressed to your normal voice and then back to tough. It wasn't consistent.
Well, that's because I was reading two different parts.
No, even before you switched to the other guy. Right after your first word or two, the tone changed a little bit.
It's a cold read.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but from the beginning to the end of the other guy, it sounded good.
But I agree. I think I'd have more fun with Jordan than the mercenary.
Well, you want to play to your strengths, too, if you want to get the role. You know what I mean?
No, do both parts, but when you do the mercenary...
Yeah.
Let me talk. My turn.
All right.
When you do the mercenary and you play the tough guy, talk slower. A lot slower.
That's
slower than you think.
Try to get a deeper voice too, or gravelier voice, or
the cigar and whiskey and all that.
Right, just get something that's gonna alter your voice slightly to make it some more gruff.
So definitely not helium.
Yeah,
no,
it's sort of like that guy
helium.
in Weird Science at the bar, the black guy, and he's like, "What is it?" He's like, "Drink it." You want to change your voice,
Give me 3 hurricanes and a double shot of Jack.
There you go.
All right.
Mix them all together and serve it to me in a sippy cup.
Man, I haven't seen that movie in years. I saw Kelly LeBrock recently on Hell's Kitchen. She was on an old Hell's Kitchen I came across. She's aged pretty well, actually.
Actually, Weird Science was on last Friday, I think. Yeah.
Oh, was it?
It was pretty good. Yeah, yeah.
Well, he had nothing to do last week because he was sitting around dying.
I couldn't move. Yeah, I literally couldn't move. Yeah, so there you go.
All right, our first topic tonight is going to be about I don't know if everybody's seen it, but they released a teaser for the upcoming Ghost Rider on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I gave up on... We've talked about this in past episodes. Shell was sticking with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but she admitted she had fluctuated by Season 2. I stopped watching. I picked up a couple episodes of Season 2, but I just couldn't get back into it. I'm interested. I gotta admit that everything they're showing, there's two versions of Ghost Rider. They went with the one that has the car. And this guy looks, I mean, from the teaser, I'm really curious as to how they're going to do Ghost Rider and introduce that supernatural element into this show, because from what they said at a convention interview, it's going to throw them off trying to figure out how to scientifically understand and explain what's going on with this guy and how his Ghost Rider abilities work and what he is, and is it really magic and all that stuff. So to me, it sounds like a very interesting, fun way to start off the third season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Would you guys have a chance to check it out, and what do you think?
Very short.
Yeah, my thing
didn't see
is
much.
Explaining it is probably the easiest thing that Marvel will do. You get a bunch of eggheads together, and they all have this geek conversation on the science of Ghost Rider, and that take about maybe 5 minutes.
Well,
and now
Ghost
he's explained.
What is Ghost? I mean, isn't he some guy who came back from hell?
No, he's
Ghost Rider is the original Ghost Rider was a stuntman, made a deal with the devil to make himself invulnerable. But in exchange, he was haunted. He was given a curse that he would become the Ghost Rider, a spirit of vengeance and destruction who could see into a man's soul and make him experience all of his sins over again in what was called a penitent stare.
This Ghost Rider, though, is not the same entity either.
No, he's not.
There's more than one Ghost Rider in the Marvel Universe that are there at the same time. It's not like one guy like Firestorm on DC. It's not like one guy inheriting the thing. This is Robbie Reyes, I think his name is, and he has the car. His Ghost Rider is a different entity, but similar in how it works and how he gets it. And they went with that character for certain story reasons. And then there's the Johnny Blaze one, which is the one Nicolas Cage played in the movies. That version of Ghost Rider is still coming, but he's coming to Netflix.
Well, how are they going to work this one into the Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when they've got, the Inhumans? I mean, is he an Inhuman? Is that what he is?
No, they talked about this on the Comic-Con panel. They're introducing, like, foreshadowing for Doctor Strange. They're starting to introduce the supernatural elements of the Marvel Universe.
So it's going to be something of a multi-dimensional crossover deal.
She said that in the interview, the one of the producers, she talked about how it's going to be one of the biggest arcs of the whole season is them trying to understand and explain what they're dealing with, because this is something they've never dealt with before.
So they're still going to have Inhumans, but it's not going to be as a main story arc where you got an Inhuman bad guy and so forth.
I don't think this season's going to focus on the Inhumans. It's going to be more about the supernatural adversaries, Ghost Rider being the key to helping them deal with that adversary, trying to get him to be on the team in a sort of unofficial way to help them because he's able to understand or deal with them.
I've noticed that Netflix still hasn't put the latest Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, they might have done with the Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They done in May, but they haven't put in the one on WB, the team they have over in WB.
I don't think they've even put the second season of Flash on there yet. And I'm waiting.
No. Second season of Flash, Arrow, they're not on Netflix yet. So.
And Legend is
Supergirl is.
Legend is it?
Supergirl.
Yeah, the whole season 1 of Supergirl is now on Netflix.
Is it really? Oh, I was getting ready to resubscribe to it tonight. So.
I'm looking forward to just finally catching up.
Oh, that's awesome. They just showed. I'm not to sidetrack the conversation, but they just had that very.
I have one whole season of Kara Danvers.
Yeah, I know. And they're getting the new season looking pretty good. There is something I'll bring up about that I didn't put in the show notes, but I'll do that after this subject.
I doubt that we've seen the last of the Inhumans in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it's not going to be as big a deal since the whole Afterlife event is over, Xia Yang is dead, and there's been a huge paradigm shift within S.H.I.E.L.D. itself.
Well, you got to remember, too, that they're seasonally having a story theme, and Season 2 is the Inhumans. This one's supernatural stuff. It's not that we won't have an episode or two where we pick up some threads from the last season, but it's not focusing on the Inhumans.
I know, but even though the second season was all about the Inhumans, doesn't mean that the Hydra threat that was established in the first season was done. They managed to mix the two. So it's very likely that we'll see this supernatural element mixed with some Inhuman story.
I have a feeling that what'll happen is, like, in the middle to end of the season, they'll start throwing in situations where the Inhumans are dealing, or fighting against supernatural elements, so they have to ask for help from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or, for S.H.I.E.L.D. Or whatever they are at this point. We'll see. But yeah, I'm sure
the Inhuman interaction isn't going to be the same with Afterlife completely dismantled, Skye on the run from S.H.I.E.L.D., and Coulson isn't even the director anymore. Right. I don't know who's the new director is going to be.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But they're definitely going to be refocusing their attentions to as they're learning about the supernatural world elements that S.H.I.E.L.D. hadn't had a lot of experience with. So that, because they talked about this in that interview on Comic-Con, that it's a huge thing. S.H.I.E.L.D. hasn't dealt with supernatural like this before. They've had individual agents
that we know of,
but not on a level where they know how to handle it. They have to call in, like...
I bet Peggy's dealt with something like it before.
Well, right. I mean, that's what I mean. Certain characters probably have contacts the way that, Arrow knows how to contact John Constantine, but it's not like his team had... or Vixen, that's another character he knows about the supernatural in DC, but it's not like they have a huge plethora of understanding of the general concept of magic, supernatural, and demons, and all that stuff. So it's
going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So what I'm trying to say is I'm now interested in watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season. I'm not a huge Ghost Rider fan at all, but he is an interesting character, and it's definitely spicing things up to be bringing in the supernatural element. It does make me curious as how they're going to handle that on this show. So I'm still not... The reason I personally I'm not a big fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is just, to me, I just don't watch shows that are based on Marvel to watch a bunch of, secret agent type characters run around dealing with them. I want to see superheroes. They gave Skye powers, turned out to be Daisy and all that stuff. That was great. They kept bringing in more and more characters, but it's not the same thing as like seeing the Avengers and actual characters from the comics in their costumes and things like that.
So you're a snob?
No, it's too down to earth. It doesn't feel comic booky.
There's a comic book based on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
And the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents actually wear cool jumpsuit uniforms. They don't wear normal clothes. That's another thing. I want it to be more like the comics. Not wearing regular suits and gearing up as if it was some kind of regular Black Ops show, and it just so happens there's a character with powers that they have to deal with. It doesn't feel like...
May's almost always in a catsuit.
Even, for example, Mockingbird, when they brought her in. Yeah, she's named Mockingbird, it's the same base character. Isn't even wearing her costume. I mean, that to me, when you bring a character in and they never wear the costume, I can't stand when the shows do that. Don't even bring them if you're going to do that. I want to see them in their costume.
She was a kick-ass character, though.
But she wasn't... I mean, it just wasn't the same to me.
And it's the same she's disavowed.
They're going to bring her back. They're going to bring her back.
Well, they had a spin-off show ready to go with her, and it ended up getting canceled.
They're bringing them back.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
That's probably because they didn't do the spin-off show.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. All right. Well, before I jump to what was that show I said I was going to talk about real quick?
This is why we make show notes.
No. I said I was throwing it in to talk about real quick. It was when we were talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, Ghost Rider and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh, what was it? You guys don't remember?
I have no idea.
I do know that Luke Cage is coming at the end of the month.
Yeah, I can't read your mind. I don't know what's going on.
No, but I mentioned it briefly, and then I said I'll come back to it.
Yeah, but you're like a mile a minute sometimes.
Yeah, your brief is minuscule to us. I mean, it's so quick. We didn't catch it.
All right. If I remember,
IGN released their review of episode 1, even though it's not coming out for another couple weeks.
I'll check that out. Now, one of the other subjects, speaking of, since we're talking about Marvel, anyways, is that the character Marvel, and there's a article that came out that the brothers there, the Wachowski brothers, the ones that did Civil War, what are their names? Those two brothers, well, whoever they are.
The Russo brothers?
That's them. I'm thinking of the Matrix guys.
Wachowski?
Yeah, I'm thinking of the Matrix.
The Wachowskis aren't brothers anymore.
Right, one's a girl, I know.
They're both become sisters. They're going to become sisters anyway, so...
Well, they're siblings.
Right. Yeah, they're siblings. Well, Marvel, they're discussing how Marvel is considering bringing some Netflix characters like Jessica Jones or just whoever into Infinity War when it comes time for that movie.
Daredevil. Got to bring Daredevil.
Well, they originally had said they weren't going to be doing that, but now they're saying they're considering it because of at the time they originally said that they weren't going to do it. The Netflix shows weren't as popular or as huge as they are now. So now they think it might be a good idea to please the fans and kind of connect the Netflix Marvel.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I gotta have Daredevil.
I mean, if you're going to do it again, depending when they come out, because Luke Cage comes out the end of this month,
right?
And again, if that's going to be as big a hit as Jessica Jones and Daredevil
I think
it will.
People who have seen the first couple
right.
Kevin Smith saw the first episode, and he won't spoil it, but he said it's better than Daredevil season 1.
Wow. Okay. It's a tall order, but good.
He said that. I will go as far as to say that his buddy said the same thing.
I don't know about bringing them all in. It could be a little hard. But one or two, I mean, again, depending on which one, my preference would be for Daredevil just because it's the first one and he's pretty cool. He's got a cool, costume. And Luke Cage doesn't seem to have a costume right now.
He never did.
Jessica Jones doesn't have one, so.
Well, she has had different costumes, but ended up just going to normal clothes. But Luke Cage never really had a costume.
Right.
Really.
Luke Cage had a costume when he went by Power Man.
Yeah, his Power Man costume wasn't really too much of a costume, but yeah, I mean, it was more like funky clothes, I guess.
So I mean, for me, if you're going to bring him into an Avengers, Daredevil has the costume, he has the clothing, has the outfit. It would fit straight in there. Just
the Netflix heroes are eventually going to come together in their own super team as well.
Right, the Defenders.
They've already had a teaser trailer for the Defenders too. Yeah, that's been out. It hasn't shown images, but it's done it like a collage on the wall of people.
I know they haven't done one yet for Punisher. They're going to do one, hopefully. But
he got hurt on set, and of that whatever that thing was. Oh no, I'm thinking of somebody else. Never mind.
No, it wasn't him.
No, it wasn't him. I'm thinking of the guy from Legends of Tomorrow. Never mind.
Right, but John Bernthal, he did the Punisher. I bring in an anti-hero into the Avengers. Just to see the dynamic, what that would do.
He won't be in it.
No, I know it wouldn't be. I know he's not going to be.
But
it would be interesting. No, exactly. But it would be fun to just see. I mean, can you imagine which side would he be on in the Civil War?
Well, in the actual comics, he was on Captain America. He was on Captain America's side. Captain America beat the crap out of him because he was allowed to join Cap's movement, but then he ended up killing a couple of the bad guys. And he went too far, and Captain America beat the living shit out of him. And he was like, "Come on, fight me back!" And he's beating up Frank, and Frank's like, "Not you! I won't! You're Captain America!" And he's just taking the beating the Cap was laying on him.
That sounds like it because he's like he only kills bad guys. America's definitely not a bad guy.
He says to Captain America, "No matter how much you beat me, I will not fight you back." He says, "You're going to have to kill me," and Captain America, he knows he won't, because that's the whole point.
Okay, well,
that was a curious setup to try, at least a feeler to see how people would feel about Frank Castle taking up the mantle as Captain America.
That's the thing, is that if they ever had a crossover where they get... Well, I know he's not going to be Captain America anytime soon. If they did, or some character close to Captain America, or somebody that people respected, and they put him in Hell's Kitchen, which that's the funny thing about the Defenders. They're like the Avengers for one city block. I don't know. It's weird. I hope there's a lot of...
it's a city block that gets a lot of action, apparently.
Yeah, that's true. Not necessarily from supernatural or superheroes.
Get the alien ships drop on them, alien creepy crawlies, and I mean, everything just seems to... you've got they got the Chinese doing something in that big hole now in Daredevil, and you had the Jessica Jones bad guy with the mind reading. Everything just seems to be coalescing in that small little area. Although I hear Luke Cage is actually doing it in Harlem, right? So they're actually taking him out of.
Luke Cage has always been a
so he's not going to
hero.
He's just going to be in New York. He's going to be in Harlem, which is getting a different view of the New York.
Well, that's more appropriate.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm hoping they
shouldn't be in shouldn't be in
Hell's
the
kitchen. Yeah.
In the comics, like, he wears a mask / bandana, kind of like Zorro under his hat, that yellow thing. I haven't seen any sign of it so far, but then again, they didn't show Daredevil's costume because he didn't get to the end of the season. So maybe after the end of his first series, by the end he'll put on the mask at least. Looks sort of like he does in the comics. But I mean, it should be interesting to see what they do there. If they do bring them into Infinity War, who they'll pick, maybe the whole team, maybe just a couple of them.
I can't see them picking the whole team because you'd have too many.
Should be in there at least because she's got at least somewhat the power to take on some superhuman bad guys. Oh, well, Luke Cage.
No, she's got the strength for it, but not the endurance. And then, of course, Luke, he's indestructible.
Luke would be the more obvious choice.
Yeah.
Because he's indestructible. He's got strength, and he can't bulletproof and whatever. I mean, he would be the more logical choice. But for my personal thing, I think, even though Daredevil will probably get his ass handed to him, because even though all he's got is that ability to heal, but I mean,
no, he doesn't even have that.
Well, he has the he's echolocation, whatever it is, the magical side of this, But again, I just like the way that they've done Daredevil on Netflix, and
there's no reason
see
Daredevil
it on the big screen.
If they can have Black Widow fighting aliens and invaders, there's no reason why Daredevil. He's got at least the same type of street level skills as her, so he could handle some people. Same, he's like Falcon.
And Daredevil's the flagship show of the Netflix, Marvel Netflix series, so he would be the obvious choice to me.
Yep. Now there's a character that Fox is bringing. This is being created by this guy who's done the whole CW universe, including Supergirl, Greg Berlanti. So this is different than like Gotham, where Fox has picked it up, but it's been created by showrunner Greg Berlanti, who's done all the CW shows like Arrow, Flash. He's overseen all that stuff. So this is going to be different than just the fact Fox has it, is Black Lightning. Now, Black Lightning originally appeared on the Super Friends. He never existed before that, and then he had a comic years later. And he's a black guy with lightning powers. And the way they describe the show is he used to be a superhero and gave up doing it. And I think it's his sister or daughter. Somebody inspires him to come back. To come out of retirement when the show starts, and so it's going to be like a black superhero with lightning powers on Fox, taking advantage of what Greg Berlanti created. Greg Berlanti wanted to bring it into the CW universe, but Fox when he pitched the idea, I guess Fox was able to get the rights to buy it and try it first. But what's cool about this is that people are saying, well, as they've shown as a precedent with Supergirl, because Fox is notorious for dumping shows. And so if they end up giving Black Lightning a try and it doesn't work out for them, they don't think it's a good fit, they can always bring it over to the CW. Everybody's like, there's no losing on this one.
Would they have... See, Fox and CW don't have the same rapport as CBS and CW
because Greg Berlanti created it. They're allowing them to buy and air the show on Fox. But from what I've heard, if they do have the right to, if Fox ends up not wanting to renew it or canceling it, the show can be grabbed by somebody else. Babylon 5, for example, was grabbed by TNT when it was being canceled originally from whoever it was that did them.
Right, but that's cancellations. That's when they just said, "No, we're getting rid of it. We're just canceling it." And then the owners or the writers or the producers start shopping it around. That's what they did with Babylon 5. They shopped it around, right. And TNT picked it up. So Fox would have to give up that. They said, "Look, we're just canceling it." Then the executive producers would have to shop it around. They're not just going to say, "Here, CW, take our show from us."
Well, no, true. But if Greg Berlanti was that interested in it, then if they do a decent job of setting it up, then and people are upset that Fox pulls the plug, then obviously I'm sure that they'll rescue it the way that they possibly.
It worked for Supergirl.
It worked for Supergirl, and they're testing things out possibly to do that.
Well, we have to wait and see because Supergirl hasn't shown up on CW yet.
She's getting ready to, and it looks like it's going to be starting out with a bang too, with Superman and all that. That's going to be cool.
CW is killing it. I mean, with all the superhero shows and the upcoming 12th season of Supernatural. Damn.
Oh, I remember now one of the things I was going to mention. When they had a trailer for Season 2 Legends of Tomorrow, you have to really catch it, because and sometimes they have to pause it, but they basically showed a lot of members of the Justice Society that was mentioned in the season finale. They showed Stargirl, who is a character who's been on Smallville in the Justice Society episode, but she's a very popular teenage superhero girl, and they showed her with her cosmic rod staff or whatever, fighting Nazis alongside the rest of the team. So their Legends looks like it's going to be picking up a lot of awesome stuff, and they got the Legion of Doom as the bad guys in Legends season 2. So CW is starting to really start bringing it, taking the comics and bringing it to the screen. And I'm really excited about what possible characters could show up on any of these shows going forward. So Black Lightning, just because it starts on Fox doesn't mean it's going to stay on Fox. Either way, I'll watch it, but I think it'd be nice if they get it over to the CW so he can cross over with the other characters. What do you think, Magnum?
I think watching cats get brain freezes is the funniest thing in the world. But anyway, no, I'm really excited for the CW. They made a very good choice, and I think I'll be watching that a lot more than CBS or ABC or NBC. So my channel will probably be on that a lot more.
We have yet to see, what it will look like and who they'll cast, so that's going to affect things, but they'll probably do a good job. All right. So, Ross wanted to talk about this. I wasn't sure if it was really worth it, but there is some Star Trek Discovery news. Ross, you want to lead on this one?
So it was announced today that after almost... how long has it been since they started teasing it? Less than a year?
They started... Yeah, they only started showing naming the show at Comic-Con this summer.
But we've known about the show for over a year.
We've known there is a show. That's all we've known.
We know that the show was coming for quite a while. And very early on, they've been saying it would be released in January. Well, news dropped today that the show is being delayed until May.
That sucks.
That's a huge setback.
Did they say why?
They said that it was delayed on the request of Brian Fuller and Alex Kurtzman.
So it's obviously
I don't
not
know
ready.
about you guys, but 3 months, the time between now and January, that's not a lot of time. And they've only had 3 episodes scripted that they've talked about, and they're still in casting. That's not a lot of time to get a series started.
You'd be surprised. No, wait. You'd be surprised. There was a whole documentary how Netflix is one of the fastest moving when they, like with Stranger Things, when they cast people, they can have the whole season shot within 1 or 2 months.
Right, but remember, we've talked about this, where would you rather have them delay it to get a better product or
CW
rush it?
Too.
Well, but again, they have their scripts laid out, and their casts they already know who they want in these parts. Ross is saying they don't know yet. They're still casting for these parts. And they've only got three episodes written and ready to go out of 13. So I mean, again, put it back. If you're going to be, instead of putting out a subpar product, make sure your product is actually good.
But we don't know
because it's going to be on that. It's going to be on that pay-per-view. It's got to be good to draw people in to buy it.
Fuller and Kurtzman are very, very aware of the responsibility they have to produce good Star Trek and the expectations that are ahead of them. Quoting from their article on The Wrap, bringing Star Trek back to television carries a responsibility and mission to connect fans and newcomers alike to a series that has fed our imagination since childhood. We aim to dream big and deliver, and that means making sure the demands of physical and post-production for a show that takes place entirely in space, and we need to meet an air date, don't result in compromised quality. So they want to make sure they are producing something good. And this isn't a pre-production and filming issue. This is post-production. So They want to make sure that the show looks good before they release it.
I'm sure they have the good reasons. I mean, I guess if it makes enough of a difference to give us quality, we'll be heading into summer with the new series. Whereas it would have been a mid-fall or winter replacement for other shows.
Taking its place in that slot, in that CBS All Access debut slot, is the spin-off of The Good Wife.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they probably...
God.
They
spin-off from The Good Wife?
Who the hell's going to buy that?
What the hell?
Actually, I watched a show on Netflix. It was a documentary that William Shatner...
Were you forced to watch it?
No. It was a documentary that William Shatner did about the behind-the-scenes fighting that went on trying to develop the next generation and the stuff people didn't know. And it was a horror story. I mean, Gene Rodman, for example, was fighting them tooth and nail. And he did not want to cast Patrick Stewart. He did not want a bald captain. and everybody's like, but he's the best actor, and he's like, I don't care. They don't lose their hair in the future. He was being stubborn, and he was like, I don't want him. And people had to go over and kind of override him. And they fought internally of all kinds of casting decisions, and it caused delays on the next generation. So we don't know exactly what's going on. But it could be something we find out years later about what happened.
So, George, tell us what you thought of the next series from The Good Wife. I mean, you've obviously seen it, right?
I have never watched The Good Wife.
Okay. I mean, that's what they're replacing Star Trek with.
They're filling that time slot while
right, but I'm sorry, who is going to buy a follow-on from The Good Wife when The Good Wife? I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch The Good Wife. I don't know what it is. Was it popular?
It's about a woman who's a lawyer, and she's a mother with some kids and a husband, but her and her husband break up, and the whole entire series is about them going through their divorce process.
So this series is probably her making her own way in the world.
Is it the same people?
Alone.
Yeah, it's the same people.
Got that nurse from ER, right? That's
no. Yeah, it
Margulies?
is. It is. Yeah, Margulies. Juliana.
She's hot.
She's all right.
She was hot back in those days. Either way, the thing is just about when it comes to why they could be having a delay problem. It could be as far. It could be they're not in agreement with who they want to cast out of their auditions to narrow down. Maybe they're having a problem agreeing on who they want as the captain. Or
you're speculating.
According to the quote, it sounds like they want to delay it to make sure that they can create a quality product and are not rushed to the point of creating something that looks like it was done in 1997.
Like I said, they're making sure that their quality is from day one, so people will buy it. I mean, that's
you can't give Star Trek fans a rushed product.
Not only that, but remember the people that complained about that demo of the ship and the CGI being not even as good as fan films. I think that they're paying attention to the reaction to that, and they want to make sure that the visual effects are really slam dunk for that pilot.
So, in the end, I think this delay is a good thing. It sounds like they really care about what they're doing, and they really want to produce something quality that everyone is going to enjoy, and will think and feel that they get their money's worth out of CBS All Access.
I think, yeah, that's true. And the other thing too, is that they want the pilot itself to be memorable, and because that's going to be, they're going to offer a version of that on regular TV to draw in people to along with the All Access. So that pilot has to be the first impression to get people to want to subscribe. They need to really make that thing shine, even more than the other ones, because that's the one that's going to make people decide, oh, I actually will bother to subscribe because I got to see it for free first. So it's a marketing thing, but it makes sense if they need more time to polish it up. It's only a few months, but I'm sure it'll be worth it, and they'll come up with something better. We'll at least get...
It's still a significant delay.
Well, I'm sure we'll get some...
That's a big delay. I mean, that's not 3 months, not 2. I mean, that's a whole half season, basically.
Yeah,
July to May is the second half of the season.
Yeah, but like I said, I think you're going to find that a lot of it's the post-visual effects. They want to really make sure they have time to render and make sure everything looks the highest quality it can for this day and age. Because they are,
and even then, 6 months to produce even 10 or 12? Yeah, 12 episodes in 6 months. That's a lot of work.
Well, the delay in those few months isn't just for the pilot. You got to remember they're probably going to be doing the visual effects on between that. Then probably all of the episodes will have been done post wise by the time they debut the pilot. This way they're all caught up. If they need to polish something while the others are still airing, they've on the final couple episodes they have little time to work with it. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it too. 13 episodes with visual effects that have to be up to snuff. Yeah, I can see it. I can see them wanting.
It's going to be a challenge for them, but I'm looking forward to see what they do.
Yep. Well, we'll have to discover what happens. See what I did there. Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
So I posted a link I've never heard of this guy, but I looked into him after I read this, and he seems pretty cool. There's an actor who's also a martial artist named Ryan Potter. He put out a video that he used as a sort of a attempt to audition for the role of Tim Drake's Robin for Ben Affleck's Batman movie, which is rumored to be titled The Batman. And he is Asian, and he also wants to make a point that we should have an Asian Robin. Apparently that was part of his agenda, not just because he wants to be Robin. It would give an Asian actor, or give a character that's important to these hero movies. Give an Asian one of the top characters, the iconic character. So he had multiple reasons for doing this. I watched his choreography in the movie and in the audition, and people have posted Photoshop images of what he'd look like in a Robin costume, and I have no problem with it. I think he could make a fine Tim Drake for this version of Robin. Have you guys had a chance to check it out? What do you think?
It's a 9-minute video.
I'm not sure how far he's going to get from an unsolicited audition.
Well, it went viral.
That is released to the public for everyone to see. It seems like as much a publicity stunt as it is an audition itself.
It did go viral, though, from what I heard.
Yeah, it'll go viral, but it didn't exactly work out for the last guy that did it. I forget his name. Daniel Glover for Spider-Man.
He got a roll on, but he got a roll though. I mean, he got him a roll.
I'm not sure how the studio will take it.
But he didn't.
Whether they'll see it as, this guy's got initiative, or this guy is just doing this for self-promotion. We're not interested.
It has worked for somebody though, and that's Ryan Reynolds for Deadpool. His thing he put up online got the
difference with Deadpool was that was test footage that was already submitted to the studio and made for the studio in consideration of making the movie. He's doing this on his own and independently and sending it in.
You're wrong, Ross. Ryan Reynolds talks about this on interviews all the time. They were still hesitant, had not greenlit the Deadpool movie. It was one of those things that's been, it was kind of like, yeah, we're going to do it, but it's like when or if ever. When he did that, he did it as a way to jerk the people, the fans, to show them the interest so that they would make their decision to greenlight it happen quicker, and it worked.
So you're saying that he released it, even though he's never admitted that he did it?
He more than implied in one interview that he did. He's like, I'm not saying that I did it, but...
No, he's never going to outwardly admit it because...
But the thing is, George, you're also forgetting, Ryan Reynolds was a known quantity. He's a star. Sorry, this guy, I don't know him.
I don't know him either, but apparently people do, and that's why it went viral.
Well, he's not that popular because he's creating some video he puts on the internet hoping somebody will give him a part in a movie. He's doing about it the wrong way, and so that's why Ryan Reynolds and this dude are apples and oranges.
You also remember,
try
Ryan
to talk
Reynolds
about videos like that.
Was one of the producers or executive producers. He was in with the people who wrote it. He was all in. He wanted to have this as his part, and he's like,
that is true.
It's completely different from this guy. This guy has nothing to do with Warner Brothers or
I agree that the
CZ.
odds are really low.
He's just doing it to try to get a job.
I'm really cute. Make me Robin.
This kid, this actor is more well known with Disney. He was in Hero 6 he was the voice of the main character, and he does a couple TV series with Disney. So if he wants to do superhero movie, the smarter route would be to do an audition with Disney, not go jump the fence and try and get in with the studio that he's done no work for.
Right.
Well, but he seems to want to be. He feels that character would work for him, but that's why he's trying. I guess I don't know.
Then he can stand in line with the other 900 people that want to play Robin and audition for it when it becomes available.
They haven't even said Robin's going to be even in this movie. He's
there you go.
All we know for sure is that there's going to be Batman and Deathstroke.
Deathstroke, I mean,
and possibly the rest of the Rogues Gallery behind bars.
Possibly, but there's been no confirmation. There's been just, the only thing that's been that Ben Affleck or anybody has actually made sure everybody knew was Deathstroke is the main villain. He could be working. He's probably working. He usually is for somebody else. Could be the Joker. Could be anybody. But he's the main villain. No word yet on who the supporting cast are going to be.
He's already been cast. Deathstroke's already been cast.
Yeah, no, right. Jason, the guy that's Joe Maglione or whatever his name is, the guy who was in Pee-wee the last Pee-wee thing on Netflix as his best friend, the guy from what was he in? Didn't he actually? Yeah, he played Deathstroke on the TV show too.
Wait, same actor?
No, that was Manu. That was Manu who played Deathstroke on the CW.
Was it?
Yes, he's the Australian.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You're getting your actors mixed up.
I am.
He's
but
completely different.
Meglio's what the heck was he in? Other than Pee-wee,
I have no idea, man.
No, neither. All I know is he looks like he'd be a good Deathstroke. But yeah, because Ben Affleck actually showed that teaser footage of him coming towards the camera. But and they make his costume look just like it does in the Arrow version. It's a little more metallic, but still. So
there's only so many ways you can go with that costume.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So, well, good luck to Ryan. I honestly don't think it's going to be...
I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to highlight more diversity in the superhero genre, and that's laudable. I can applaud that. He's just going about it the wrong way if he wants the role.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem if they want to take a liberty and make Tim Drake Asian, because if you really look at Tim Drake in the comics, him being Asian is not going to make a hell of a difference on how he looks. It's
not a great stretch, no.
It's not at all. So it's like, it's not like making a white character black, or not that it matters, but it's not even that big, because it still sort of looks the same. Black hair, short, it's just his facial features are a little bit different, big deal. Who cares? Anyway, so yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Affleck talks about it as a sort of like, well, that's cool, that you did that. They may even bring him in, but to audition, but I don't think he'll get it. But stranger things have happened, so I'm not going to be shocked if it ends up that they want to, look at the audience reaction because they want to play to the masses versus the negative backlash they've been getting lately. We'll see.
He looks good on screen doing martial arts.
That's why he was
but
coming
that
in for an audition.
Does not make him a Robin necessarily.
Yeah, I don't even know if the guy can act because his audition primarily was him.
See,
he can act.
Joe
he can voice act at least. He did a great job in Big Hero 6.
Oh, okay. What was that, Will? He was in what?
He was in Magic Mike and True Blood. He was a werewolf.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's where he's from.
Oh crap! I know who he is.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's nuts about True Blood and makes me watch it with her.
Uh-oh. I've never watched an episode of my life except for one sex scene on YouTube or something.
Run away, look away, never do it.
I know it's got the girl Anna Paquin who played Rogue in the X-Men movies. That's about all I know. Alright, so I'm going to review a comic series that when I got paid this morning, I was browsing around Comixology to see if there's anything cool I can mention since we haven't talked about any new comics in a while, since I talked about Rebirth, or I think Ross might have talked about something in between that, but there's a series that DC put out that's on like its 27th or 28th issue, and what it is it's called Wonder Woman 77, and they use Linda Carter's and Andrew Wagoner's, or Lyle Waggoner, I'm sorry, the guy who played Steve Trevor. They use their likenesses, and they recreate that 70s Wonder Woman show, and they make it into a comic series, like an alternate world of its own, the continuing adventures of that Wonder Woman. They brought in, I grabbed a few issues. They're only 99 cents. They're actually the cheapest ones out there. They market it to be cheap, so you want to grab it. But the artwork's great. They make everybody look just like they did in the TV show. It's like they took their faces, literally photoshopped it in there. I think they probably did. But they have Wonder Woman go up against like Solomon Grundy, some other characters from DC. A couple of Batman. Oh, Clayface from Batman. No crossovers with other DC heroes that I've seen. So they're just sticking to she's the only hero. But they bring in the villains. And I've been really enjoying it. I'm going to start collecting it. I think there's a lot of issues to catch up on, but it's just fun. It's like a retro thing. It's really neat the way they're doing it. It takes place in the 70s. Also, it's not that character reimagined into the modern world. It takes place in 1977, and I just think it's a really fun storyline, and if anybody's a fan of Linda Carter and that TV show, this is a fun little nod to that. It's an homage. It'd be like them doing a version of the Adam West Batman comic series in its own new spin, and using their likenesses and recreating it the way they do in that animated thing.
It's been a while since I've seen the 70s Wonder Woman. Was it campy? Like, it wasn't as campy as Batman.
Not at all.
But it was...
No, it did have some campy elements.
It was, again, because I remember her spinning around, and she went from clothes to the leotard and the...
yeah, but it wasn't campy like Batman.
No, it wasn't as wow, biff, wow, and it wasn't as stupid little jokes. But again, it was the 70s. It was a 70s show.
It was better in the World War II.
So I'm thinking, in my genre, I'm thinking, $6 Million Man was the same kind of thing.
It was very similar to that. It wasn't. It took itself sort of seriously. But
Bionic Woman.
Bionic Woman.
Like those shows you just mentioned and compared it to, they did take themselves sort of seriously, but they made it a fun show. And it was some corny elements, like when she fought like a guy in a gorilla suit, he's supposed to be a gorilla, stuff like that. But I mean, it wasn't designed to be campy.
No. So it wasn't designed. So is that what they're doing with this comic? They're kind of...
It's actually a little more serious than that.
But are they trying to take... I mean, how do you... So the 70s were kind of... I was a kid during the 70s. I was...
There's one issue... There's one arc. The original Wonder Woman that they cast in the pilot was the... I forget the actress's name. She was blonde. Kathleen Crosby, I think her name was. She was a big actress at the time. She was blonde. She had a totally different jumpsuit outfit, and they did a pilot with that. Her as well, a version of Wonder Woman looked nothing like she did in the comics, and then they ended up redoing the pilot with Linda Carter. But they do this. They make a fun nod to that by having an issue where she's being hallucinating in an alternate reality. That she's in an alternate reality where she's not Wonder Woman anymore, and she's just Diana Prince. And when someone yells for Wonder Woman, she tries to spin and nothing happens. And when Wonder Woman comes, it's that Wonder Woman, the one Kathleen Crosby, I think her name is. And that was cool because I knew.
You had a blonde Wonder Woman first?
Yeah. Not for the comics. This was for the TV show.
No, yeah, I'm thinking for the audition they were auditioning.
Yeah,
I didn't remember.
Kathleen Crosby or something like that. She was a popular actress at the time, and her costume was like this. Almost looks like a jogging suit, but it has the stripes and everything. And so they did an homage to that pilot by having this story where there's another Wonder Woman, and her world has changed around her, and this was Wonder Woman instead of her. And it's just kind of... I was laughing when I was looking at the panels in the comic because I knew exactly what they were doing there because I was a big fan back in the day, and I remember that pilot, revisiting that pilot on YouTube, and just seeing clips from it with the original Wonder Woman. It's pretty cool. But the stories are good. They do it in a more... They make it more serious than it was in the TV show. But it's just a fun little... it's still ongoing. It hasn't been canceled. It's been going on for 28 issues now, almost. So, yeah, I'm hoping they do some crossovers and somehow figure out a way to bring in... I think it'd be cool if she crossed over with the Adam West Batman and maybe the George Reeves Superman or something like that, to sort of nod to everything. That'd be kind of cool. But, yeah, people should check it out. So it's called Wonder Woman 77. You can look it up on Google. Just do that little, 77 like it's a year. Symbol there. Anyways, so all right. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about?
There's some other comic news coming out of DC.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned something earlier. Go for it.
Of a couple of stories that popped up on IGN recently. Apparently, another Robin has bit the dust. Sort of.
Tim Drake, you said?
Yeah, Tim Drake. He took one for the team, reprogramming a bunch of robots who are rampaging Gotham to target himself. He apparently died. Everyone thinks he's dead, except he's actually being held captive by somebody. So, mark off another dead Robin. Sort of.
How many does that make now?
Let's see. Let me see if
I think all of them have died at least once, except for Dick Grayson.
The ones... Okay, so Jason Todd was the first Robin that died. He wasn't meant to die, but they actually miscounted the polls on the telephone. The Death in the Family comics series had a thing where they were going to let the readers, call in on a you have to pay for it, total number, and you would vote for does he live, does he die when Batman finds his body after the Joker beat him with a crowbar, and there was an explosion. And what ended up happening was they counted the wrong thing, and they they didn't want him to die, but they killed him. So they found out later they screwed up. But anyway, so he was the first major Batman character to die like that. And then he replaced him with, not Tim Drake, who was the second Robin? I forget the kid's
Jason
name.
Todd.
Jason Todd. No, Jason Todd was the one that died.
Tim Drake was the one that followed.
Tim Drake came after him, right? I think you're right. And then, Jason Todd was the one that died. Then Tim Drake. Then he had he got a female Robin, which was Stephanie, who was one time Spoiler. Her name was Spoiler, and then she became Robin, and then she became one of the Batgirls. There's been a lot of rotating in the Batman family as far as who is who. Even Dick Grayson's been Batman for a while. So we've gone through quite a few Robins, and but Tim Drake. So you're saying these? Did they start right off where he's not dead, or did they make you wait a couple issues?
They apparently at the end of the issue it shows that he's actually being held captive by someone, but everyone thinks he's dead.
Huh.
And also in DC News, apparently Rebirth is really, really messed up the whole Superman continuity.
Oh yeah?
How's that?
Well, there's about 2 or 3 different versions of the same Superman, including a Clark Kent with no powers.
Are they all alive at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all just a convergence of different alternate Supermen.
Let's bring that to the screen.
Well, it's actually a little bit of a twist of the story where he returned from the death, and there were people pretending who was the real Superman that came back. Only it's all of them are Superman kind of thing.
Except for the depowered or unpowered Clark Kent.
Right, who has been married to Lois. And had a kid.
Who is also Superwoman.
Right, and they have a kid. And the kid is supposed to be becoming friends with Batman's son there, Damian. They're going to be like the best friend Batman and Superman.
Someone explained to me how Lois became Superwoman.
She was caught in an energy release from one of the Superman's death and inherited his powers, just like Lana
so his
did,
ghost
apparently,
went into her
and she's
mouth.
Also Superwoman.
So his ghost went into her mouth, she swallowed it, and became Superwoman.
Kind of, but they have had her as Superwoman in the All-Star Superman comic and cartoon that came out, or the animated movie. But it was a pill that he gave her so she would know what it's like to be Superman for 24 hours.
All right, okay. That just begs more questions.
I need to read this series to get it straight. I'm just getting what I'm getting from these articles.
What I'm thinking.
To give her powers for 24 hours. It's a time release capsule.
Superman did something with Kryptonian technology so that he can make someone have the same powers.
Right, but he's got to take an essence of him.
Right. So what essence of his body did he use to make this pill?
Right, that's what you're logically going to say. It could be cells, it could be skin, but he doesn't. Does he get eczema? Does he have flaky skin?
I don't think he does.
I don't think our bodies could digest his cells. So I'm trying to figure out where's this essence coming from.
Obviously, you would have to break that down and remove it from the cell.
If he goes into an artificial red sun room in his Fortress of Solitude, then all the powers are nullified. Then you can then break down and crush stuff up.
Is it? All right, that's red kryptonite. Sorry, I was going to say.
No, not red kryptonite. Red.
I know. I'm talking out loud. Why do you keep talking over me?
So
I was saying red
it's what he does, man.
Is what made him. Yeah, I know. I just wanted to say it. All right, so he harnesses the red sun in the Fortress of Solitude for what purpose?
To remove all the powers of his body, so he can actually be cut open, take things out.
It's basically a tanning room.
It makes him normal.
Tanning room.
You gotta understand, he uses that sun to weaken his body so he could cut it open, but anything he takes out of his body, once it gets touched by the yellow sun, doesn't it regain its power?
If he breaks it down in some other like chemical and makes it into something else, then by then
sunlight doesn't get into the human body, though.
Yeah,
it gets into the object, not before it gets ingested, unless she drinks it in the red sun, and then when she comes out of there,
all energy in our solar system comes from the sun.
Yes, but light filtered through skin goes through blood, which tints the light red.
I don't know. It's technobabble. Oh,
I can technobabble with the best of them.
After this subject,
but make sure your technobabble is correct.
Yeah, I suddenly remembered what I couldn't remember earlier, but I'll mention it after this part. But
the power of retcon is derived by plot.
So the writers just said she became Superwoman.
Right.
Exactly, because plot, bitch.
And this kind of spins off of what Ross was just talking about a little bit for what I forgot I was going to mention. It has to do with the new season of Supergirl. So they're bringing the character that's in the rocket ship that landed at the end of last season, who it turns out it is.
I don't want to know.
And I haven't seen it yet.
Right. Don't
It just
spoil
came out
it.
on Netflix. Wait till we
Just
catch
announce
up, please.
spoilers. Announce spoilers.
It's not a spoiler.
It is a spoiler.
They're going to have commercials about it.
They have. I haven't seen them, so I don't know.
I don't have TV. I don't watch commercials.
All right. Because it's a major DC character.
Then I don't want to know.
Then let us find out for ourselves.
He's going to say it anyway.
He better not.
All right. I should have mentioned the rocket ship thing. Then I could have just said, this person's coming, you wouldn't have known.
Don't say it. Just move on. Move on.
No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say crypto.
Here's some of my essence. You are now a Superwoman. Drink of my essence.
Did you guys play BioShock back in the day?
Nope.
I played the first one on Xbox, but I didn't finish it.
Anthony?
I didn't like it because it was a horror thing, and it scared the crap out of me.
Well, they just released the BioShock collection, where they remastered all 3 games and re-released it. If you already own the games, you get the upgrade for free.
Wow. I don't own them. Well, I only own the first one, so...
But it's definitely it's a great pair of games. If you guys can get it, I recommend you do. It's the first game in particular really blends both story and game mechanics expertly, and Armin Shimmerman plays the main baddie.
You guys keep talking about whatever you want while I'm searching for new topics because we ran short.
Yeah, the thing with these kind of games, I mean, Fallout does this to me kind of. When you're crawling through the deserted buildings and you come across a super mutant, the crap out of you, and I jump and I don't like those games because I don't like getting. I mean, I'm not a horror person. I don't like watching horror. I don't read horror. I don't read Stephen King. I don't like playing horror movies. When I started playing it, because it was more like sci-fi, and you went under the sea, but it got really creepy for me. It really did. So I never finished.
You don't like horror?
No, I don't like horror.
I love it. I watch it to go to sleep. If I wake up in the middle of the night and I cannot go back to sleep, I put on a horror film.
Not me.
And the scarier the better.
Not me.
I do that.
Sounds like you'd like BioShock, and Will, sounds like you'd be more interested in BioShock Infinite. It's definitely more of a cinematic experience without the jump scares.
Yeah.
There is a TV show on Netflix called Elevator. You gotta watch it. It's only one season long. It's a game show. Elevator.
Nope,
it's
I'm not watching
fun.
Nope.
It's fun. They take 3 people and they scare the crap out of them.
Not watching it.
I'm gonna take you on the show with me.
Nope, I'm not going on it.
Yeah.
And no, the thing I watched. What was that show that they had where they would take them into haunted houses, and they had these celebrities or guests, and they had to spend a night in the haunted house. And
I know what you're talking about.
It was on MTV or something. And okay, it's not real, but the thing is, when you're in there, your mind is the greatest trickster of all.
Yep.
It tricks you into. Oh, that's what I mean. When you were a kid and you're lying in your bed, and you got the curtains closed, but the sunlight or the moonlight's coming in, and it projects shadows on. From when I was a kid, I remember watching Alien, the first one on TV. It was like 80 something, and they had it on TV. I stayed up 2:00 in the morning because it came on it was late at night, and everybody had gone to bed. The lights were out. I'm creeping up the stairs, and I'm seeing the shadows coming through the window. I'm like, shit! It looks like an alien. I mean, I'm like 8, 9, 10. I mean, it scared the crap out of me. Can't take horror movies. I'm not that kind of. I don't like the adrenaline.
I'm not the biggest fan either. You're not alone.
Don't like the adrenaline.
They keep you alive.
No. See, the thing, I would have thought you wouldn't, because black people don't, I mean, they run away. They don't, no, you don't go into the building, you run the opposite direction.
Right, that's why I watch it. Because I love watching stupid people get killed.
Well, black people never go into the building, or if they do, the black people is the first person to die, usually, in those movies.
True.
They usually get caught, or they get, they get pushed, or they get sacrificed, or something. No, I don't like those horror movies. But the thing with, like I said, BioShock, it was all right until I got to the scary part. I've never played BioShock Infinite. What was that? Or Infinitum, whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
Infinite.
What is that?
It's sort of a sequel. It has similar mechanics, but a different story and setting than the original BioShock, where BioShock takes place in the city of Rapture, which is a city at the bottom of the ocean. Infinite takes place in a city in the clouds, which is run by something of a religious fundamentalist oligarchy.
Yeah, I didn't like being at the bottom of the ocean.
Rapture was run by a purely capitalist confederation, I guess.
Yeah. I didn't like being at the bottom of the ocean. That's another thing I didn't like. I remember playing, I think, Tomb Raider 2, where, she had like 3 or 4 parts right in the middle of the game. You're on the bottom of the ocean in this sunken vessel, working your way from the bow to the stern, or the stern to the bow, I forget which way. And I hated it. I'm like, I don't like feeling trapped at the bottom. I'm at the bottom of the ocean. Just one of my fears. I don't want to go and be stuck at the bottom of the ocean. I couldn't stand that. So
there's a show everybody keeps telling me to watch on Netflix. All right, it's a movie, I guess. It's original movie. It's called Hush. You guys heard of that?
Yeah.
I just resubscribed while you guys were talking. I'm like looking at the synopsis. I heard it was awesome. It's about a deaf girl dealing with killer thing going on.
I didn't like it.
You watched it?
Yeah, it was too predictable.
What was it?
For me, it was.
She lives in isolation, a world of silence. It doesn't mean she's easy prey. One intruder finds it out the hard way.
They've made a lot of movies like that, though. They've had a lot of in the 90s where they had a deaf woman a guy invade her home because they thought somebody had stashed something in her home and she was deaf and couldn't hear the attacker and stuff like that.
There's a movie that was just released about like that called Don't Breathe, about a bunch of kids who break into an old war vet's home. He's blind, but he can sense them, and he goes about slaughtering and disemboweling each one as he finds them.
Yeah, see, that one's good.
Oh, God.
Right? Because it's like, the only way he can't sense you is if you don't breathe.
But you gotta breathe, so...
You gotta breathe, yeah.
Idiots don't break into someone's house.
And they're all millennial kids, right? Because they don't understand the consequences of their action. Why are you killing me? So it's beautiful.
God, sounds awful. I mean, okay, people break into your house, call the cops. Don't go around killing them.
It's a blind war vet who doesn't like people.
How big is the house?
It's get off my lawn taken to an extreme.
Taken to the extreme. How big is that? See, the thing is, you've got an hour-and-a-half movie. How big is the house? You go from one room to another. Usually, a vet's home is a small, single dwelling, 4 or 5 rooms at the most. Was he living in a mansion?
It's a house, and I'm not sure. I haven't seen the movie yet, but apparently he locks it down to trap them inside.
So he's a stalker. He's a serial killer. He's trapping them. He's luring them in there.
They've been killed if they didn't break into his house.
Actions.
Hey, here's something else I want to bring up. It's not really well, it's kind of geeks. Hey, any of you guys ever seen this really someone told me about this at work, so I just started checking it out this morning. Has anybody seen that cartoon Mr. Pickles?
I have not.
Oh my god. No. It's a huge hit. They just got renewed. They're getting renewed for season 3. It's about a dog that's a demonic worshiper, and there's a little kid, and he's like, he calls him Mr. Pickles because when he does something good, he likes to eat pickles. Well, the dog's always trying to hump the mom, for real. He's always killing and murdering people, chopping their heads off. And the grandfather's the only one that keeps seeing all the things he's doing. He keeps telling everybody they think he's crazy. He actually cares about the boy and his family, though, but other than that, he'll kill anybody in the whole town. And this show is so raunchy. It's sort of like Beavis and Butthead style animation, but it's like, oh my god, it is so far out. It's like gross, sexual, twisted. They actually got Rob Zombie to play recurring character, who's leader of this cult of vegans. They got Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields is the voice of the mom. It's
so the dog is the protagonist. I mean, the bad guy. I mean, the one that's
Mr.
killing
Pickles.
everybody.
Yeah, Mr. Pickles. The boy.
How does a dog? Does he just bite people to death?
No. He'll rip their faces off. He'll chainsaw them. He'll use axes.
How does a dog activate a chainsaw?
It's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon. He can do that.
Okay.
There's a lot of sex in it. There's characters in the town that are like the sheriff of the town is like always running around on roller skates, and he's funny as hell. Oh my god, this is such a twisted cartoon.
It's sounding like Squidbillies.
In the doghouse, in Mr. Pickles' doghouse, he has a secret door that opens up and goes into an underground and satanic lair where he has all the people he's killed. He's brought back to life as his zombie servants, and he's got like dead bodies and heads everywhere. And the grandfather, he keeps taunting the grandfather. The grandfather keeps seeing all the things he's doing, and he keeps trying to tell everybody and warn them, and they don't believe him. And what ends up happening is, he keeps trying to get proof to the sheriff that Mr. Pickles is doing all these horrible things. But then what ends up happening is Mr. Pickles sets it up so that by the time the sheriff finds something out, Mr. Pickles looks like he's the savior of whatever happened. So they end up praising Mr. Pickles, and the grandfather keeps getting more and more looking like he's, has Alzheimer's or something. And it's just so twisted. It's unbelievable.
Again, just on the side note, with the that show with the what's it called? Those kids. I forget the name of it. Was it
Stranger Things?
No. The cartoon with the kids and the I forget.
Rugrats?
Not Rugrats.
You need to be a little more specific.
The offensive little kids who run around. Hey, Cartman. Hey,
South Park.
South Park. Thank you. I blanked on the name. Anyway,
worse than that.
No, yeah, obviously. But the thing is, did you see South Park's take on Colin Kaepernick's? I mean, they pretty much roasted
that. That was beautiful.
They roasted him. They had the South Park cast, and they were singing the national anthem, but they put new words to it, like "cops are pigs," "cops are pigs." All of a sudden, and then they say, "Oh, all of a sudden, somebody stole my stuff. Cops are no longer pigs because I need you to get my stuff back." And
right, and then once they got their
stuff back, cops are back being pigs.
Yeah,
it's funny as heck. Oh, yeah, that was really funny.
Wow.
They probably put that in the. I think that was just a teaser for the new season.
Yeah, I haven't seen South Park in a couple of years.
They're still going strong.
Yeah, they are.
As long as people are doing stupid shit, South Park's gonna have material.
Oh yeah, I mean they're the roast kings. I mean they just had that roast of Rob Lowe. I don't watch those things anymore because they're no longer funny.
Apparently, that roast ended up being less of a roast of Rob Lowe and more of a roast of Ann Coulter.
Right.
The Charlie Sheen roast was pretty hilarious.
No, they're not funny anymore. They're just...
The Charlie Sheen one was.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, I look back at the roast they had with Dean Martin and so forth. Those guys were funny.
Those guys
Don
wrote their own
Rickles
material.
was the best.
I mean,
at roasting. Don Rickles?
Don Rickles, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nobody like them anymore. These guys are just offensive now. I mean, they're just not funny when they do it. They may be funny with their own material and on stage, but they're coming up. They wrote these jokes really quickly. They're not. They're just not funny for me anymore.
The only person that was really good for a while was what's her name? Crap. I forget her name, but she was like the Queen of Mean. And she was a comedian.
Sarah
she just died?
She's still alive.
Oh, I think you were talking about...
Joan Rivers?
No, that's not her. But she was alright.
She was a white girl, but she was talking about black guys. God, I forget her name. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I don't know who you're talking about.
Here's a story for you guys.
Go ahead.
Posted yesterday. So, did you guys see Kingsman?
No, I've never seen Kingsman.
Yeah, I saw it.
So it's a kind of a comedic secret agent movie in the style of older James Bond with fantastic gadgets, over-the-top villains, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've seen the clips, but never saw the movie.
And you guys know who Stan Lee is, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, there's a movie in
Excelsior.
planning with Stan Lee as the main character that takes place in the 70s with him as an action hero.
Interesting.
So, 1970s Stan Lee as a secret agent's action hero.
So he's writing about superhero stuff, and he's leading a secret life where he is one.
Mild manic-mannered comic book artist by day, super agent superhero at night.
All right, it could work.
So released by The Hollywood Reporter last night. That's why they're doing it. 20th Century Fox obtained Stan Lee's life rights and are planning to make this movie. No wonder.
But he's not dead yet.
No, he's not, but they're going to use his likeness anyway to make money.
How can you use somebody's likeness when they're not dead yet and you've retained their likes? I mean, that's
likeness
weird.
And
likeness.
life rights. So
life
when he
rights?
does
I mean,
die,
what the hell is
they'll
that?
be making his biography or biopic and docudrama
Yeah, he's not going to
movies.
be around much longer. The guy's almost 100 years old. I'm not even exaggerating.
They're probably already planning and filming it, so it'll be released within the week that he dies, or month after everyone's grieved.
Yeah, he's in his late 90s. It's only a matter of time.
How long did it take the Mandela piece to come out?
I don't know.
What Mandela piece?
See, in the 1970s, Stan Lee was already in Hollywood to bring his characters to life on the small screen. No writers have been chosen yet. No directors. Just an announcement. Get people interested.
Sounds interesting. All right.
I don't know about that. I mean, making a superhero out of a comic writer or a comic, that's kind of weird.
It wouldn't be the first time.
I'd have to see. I'm going to reserve my judgment until I actually see some clips or material on it.
Well, Ian Fleming based character James Bond off of his own experience. And
right, but yes,
but,
yes, obviously. But the thing with, he wrote James Bond in his own image, if you will, and they were books first, and then they were taken to the movies, and they became very big, and they have achieved legendary status now. But they start off small. Here you have a writer who's okay. He's trying to portray himself as a superhero in the 70s when he's writing comic books or superhero comic books. It's going to get a little muddled. I mean, you're not going to clear delineation.
It's not supposed to be taken seriously. It's going to
be a spoof
drama.
or a campy version of it.
Right. Like a parody, probably.
And
like
those books, by the way,
70s.
are still being written and released by authors using the pseudonym.
Well, it's something to keep an eye out for. It could be interesting. I'm not really excited about it or looking forward to it at all. But we'll see what happens when they show commercials for it.
Well, if we're going to keep going on movies for a little bit, 50 Shades Darker.
No,
I've not even wanted to.
Don't care.
That was my reaction to Will.
It's
Don't
one of those
care.
things, if I was getting paid to do trailer or reactions, I would. That's the only reason I would ever watch that.
Next subject.
My girlfriend's going to drag me to it.
I don't care.
We really don't have any more subjects unless we make stuff up as we go along.
Did you hear that they remade Ben-Hur, right?
Well, yeah,
Everybody's-
I've heard bad things.
Yeah.
It's flopped as
The ending is supposed to be horrible.
nobody went to see it. It's gonna Ghostbusters basically lost 70 million. This one's projected to lose 120 million.
Well, I have a couple of friends on my Facebook who saw it and they liked it, but then again they're religious because I guess they threw a lot of Jesus stuff into this.
Well, the original Ben-Hur was a story about a man whose life was paralleling Christ's,
Right.
as he traveled the world.
I mean, if you watch the original with Charlton Heston.
And that's the key thing. They're remaking a movie starring Charlton Heston. You cannot improve upon a Charlton Heston performance.
I know. I'm pretty sure you could.
You could. I mean, he's made a couple of bad ones. I mean,
yes, but Ben-Hur, his masterpiece.
Again, Ben-Hur is a classic. I don't know why you went back to Ben-Hur.
You got to have a good actor and a good director, and
you got to have someone with clout. Someone who people know is a very strong actor and who can pull off that same kind of presence, gravitas, and resonance that Heston had.
You should audition for the next one.
I don't even cut it close.
Makes you want to join the NRA, doesn't it?
Not from my cold, dead hands.
Is he dead? Is Charlton Heston?
Yeah, he died.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
just a bad move. A really bad move.
I mean,
and they spent so much money on it, too.
But again, look at what they've been doing.
Wait a minute, you saying Mark Wahlberg did not do justice to the replacement character for when they did Planet of the Apes again?
No, he didn't.
Planet of the Apes is a completely different story.
I know, I'm just kidding.
I don't like the remakes. I'm sorry, I don't like them.
I was laughing. I was joking because that was a Charlton Heston role too.
Yes, I like the originals. I don't like the new ones. I don't watch the new ones.
The Mark Wahlberg one was a pretty big misstep, but they thankfully redeemed it with the new ones.
I never seen them. I saw that Wahlberg one, and I never saw the end of them.
Caesar, when they're
Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Those
never saw them.
Those are
never
good.
saw them.
It's the one with Mark Wahlberg that's a joke. But I do like the way they did the apes in that movie, just not the story and the plot. And how they handled it.
I mean,
or the acting, the
original Planet of the Apes has got the classic, "Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape." I mean, come on, that's classic.
And they came close to bestiality between Helen Bonham's her ape chick and Mark Wahlberg. That would have been.
But at that point, it would be with the classic ending of more than bestiality, since she's sapient and sentient.
See, from my perspective, Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston was a portrayal of what would life be like if he came back to Earth from space and the black people ruled the world. So, I'm just saying, that's what they called black people back in the 50s and 60s, apes.
But again, here's something for you, Anthony. I think you'll appreciate it. I recently completed an interview with Mark Cushman, author of These Are the Voyages, the biography of Star Trek. He was talking to me about his latest book, Irwin Allen's Lost in Space, and we touched on one of his other books about I Spy, which was the first television show that featured a black character on equal footing with a white character. Oh, yeah. And apparently some of the early press releases about it says TV featuring a black lead character, and he doesn't have to sing or dance.
Yep. See, that's how they portrayed black people, as singers and dancers. That's why I laugh at our friend Marv all the time when he said people paid him $5 to dance, because it reminds me back in during that time when Bill Cosby took that role.
And it wasn't that long ago, people. There are people still alive who remember it. And they're running Trump's campaign.
Stanley, remember
pretty
his 99,
much.
Something like that. All right. Well, we're kind of close when we usually wrap the show, unless we have any last things you guys want to bring up.
Oh, dear God, they made a third Bridget Jones movie.
Oh, look, we'll skip that one.
That's the... we don't need to know about that.
One, so I'm glad.
Yeah, we
is Zellweger really that hard up for work?
Yes.
Yes.
I was just about to
she
ask
is.
If she was the one that was in the...
I mean, the previews alone are horrible. It's
I didn't even know the film had been made.
Why? I know, right?
I don't like her accent.
Why would anyone want to go see that?
Why do people think her accent's great? It's not. It's a crappy accent.
It's horrible.
It is.
Oh.
What accent does she do in that?
A British accent.
I've got one last subject.
Okay.
So you guys are familiar with Blizzard Entertainment?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So have you heard of the name Chris Metzen?
No.
Chris Metzen is the Vice President of Story Development. He is the guy who's in charge of building the worlds within the games. He was also one of the co-founders of Blizzard and is also the voice of Thrall in World of Warcraft.
Okay.
He's retiring.
Good for him.
Well, that's good.
I mean,
Yeah, good for
this
him.
guy is one of the biggest names at Blizzard. And I'm wondering how... I mean, the fact that he is retiring is great, but at the same time, that's a big hole to fill.
It's a man.
It's a man, but he's an influential guy in Blizzard.
I'm pretty sure there's other talent.
Which will be replaced by another influential guy in Blizzard.
I'm quite confident that they're not going to go downhill when he leaves.
Obviously, this is affecting me more than it's affecting you guys.
Oh,
It is.
it is. It's like any developer or creator. George Lucas. Oh, George Lucas isn't going to be in Star Wars anymore. Okay, good.
Well, George Lucas was incompetent towards the end.
But he started off on a home run.
Yes, because he had a lot of help from Steven Spielberg.
Well, true.
Uncredited help from Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of rumors that Spielberg was involved in Empire. He just couldn't take credit because of the whole George dropping out of the whole what you call it there, the
Screen Actors Guild.
Screen Actors Guild, right? Because they didn't like him doing the credits at the end instead of the beginning. He refused to change that template for Star Wars.
And set a precedent in the meantime.
Right. And I'm glad he did. I think Star Wars is cool the way it's different and how they take it. But back then, Screen Actors Guild wouldn't... They were like, you're not playing ball. It's kind of like Tolkien when it comes to the literary society and how he did things outside.
Yeah, this is what gets me about being different. People shun you for being different, but yet they still go and watch a product.
Yep.
So,
because you do something different and influential.
There you go.
All it means is you don't get the official backing from an exclusive club of people that thinks that they know better than you.
And you don't need it.
And you don't need it. It's just like the Better Business Bureau for businesses. The Better Business Bureau is nothing but a club. They don't really have any influence. People think, oh, if they're approved by the Better Business Bureau, it doesn't really mean crap. They'll take anybody that's paying their membership with them and say they're doing something right. It doesn't matter whether they are or not. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that like when it comes to stuff like Blizzard and that guy leaving, I'm sure he had a lot of influence on the development of the company, but I'm also sure he trained a lot of people underneath him that learned from him, and then they can pick up the mantle.
It'll be interesting to see who fills his shoes, because Metzen, he's also the face of Blizzard in a lot of ways. He's very charismatic, and each of his opening speeches at BlizzCon have always been very compelling.
Well, look at Kathleen Kennedy when she took over for Lucasfilm when George was retiring and selling it to Disney. Well, no, even before Disney, he made her his executive or whatever. She learned under George how everything ran. When she took over, when he handed the reins over, Lucasfilm got better, and not just because Lucas himself stepped aside, because it was more than just the films back then. It was the games, everything. But she has taken that brand, Star Wars, and only made it better and better. She learned from Lucas and then put her own spin on it. I think that's what will happen with Warcraft and whatever Blizzard does next. Somebody he trusts will take over. I'm sure he'll have a big say at picking his successor, and they'll be fine.
No doubt.
That's like saying Stan Lee's irreplaceable. He probably hasn't actually had his fingers in the pie other than his name brand recognition anyways for years.
He's been retired for a long time.
Right. He's the face of Marvel, but...
Excelsior!
Exactly.
Aww.
This guy, I'm sure... He wasn't going to let the company go to hell and not give his knowledge, pass it on to someone and train people to know how he saw things and how things stayed the way they were. I'm sure that by now, if he's getting ready to leave, he planned it ahead of time and wanted to make sure that he didn't build this up just to see it go to hell because he doesn't trust the people that are going to take over. I'm sure he has people he knows he can count on that are ready to step in. That's just the way it goes in any business.
Well, it will be interesting to see where they go from here.
That'd be like if I ever decide to leave Super Geeks everybody's going to be, no, we can't keep going on without George. You need
George, I doubt that.
We'll just go on, right, Will?
We'll just go on without you.
Will will just take over, and he'll do stupid skits and talk about, like, Batman and stuff. You know, he'll do the Bat voice.
No, I don't do the Bat voice. Ross can do that.
All right. No,
what about the Bat voice?
Well, I was going to say Will was going to take over.
I'm Batman.
All right. Well, we're pretty close to the end of where we normally would be anyway, so we did manage to squeeze in a few extra topics, so that's good. All right, well, that was technically episode 29. There's a lost episode out there, I think, after we...
George, there's something I wanted to say.
Who could beat up Batman?
Superwoman can beat up Batman.
Well, yeah.
Wait, why do you agree to that, but Superman can't?
Superman can. As long as Batman's caught off guard. If he's got kryptonite ready, that's different.
Well, he would have kryptonite ready against Supergirl or Superwoman.
Yeah, because she has Batman's essence in it.
Is she affected by kryptonite, Ross?
Has to be. She's from the same planet.
No, she's Lois. She got the same power. She got his power.
I don't know. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot to catch up on.
I'm sure there's an assumption that if she has his power, she has his weakness.
Probably.
Well, she did kind of get killed by a female Bizarro.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not going to stick. But we all know when it comes to deaths. And plus, DC doing Rebirth, they were supposed to be fixing everything, not making it worse. Anyways. All right. Well, that should wrap it up for this week. There's quite a few subjects. It's only going to get more and more busy around here because fall is upon us now, and in a few weeks, all the CW shows, pilots start up, Supergirl, The Flash. I'm actually thinking of creating an after show for one or two of them as a separate Super Geeks thing, and whoever can make it on the night that the show airs, we do an after show reaction like they do. That's very popular now. It's sort of like... for example, when they have the Flash.
Well, we may have to put it back an hour because if the hour is going to be on the same time again on Wednesdays this fall, that's at 7:00 my time, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. I mean,
right.
So I'm going to be watching that on Wednesday night. So.
Well, it depends on when my nights are. We close an hour earlier, except on Friday and Saturday at my work now, so I would be home around 10 something. So if the show. I don't know when each show is going to air. I forget when Supergirl and The Flash air. I think Flash is Tuesdays, but...
Flash is Tuesdays at 8.
If we do a Flash after show, whoever can make it, if we do it, later in the night...
No, it's again, they're all at 7, because W has that. They only have 2 hours,
right.
so...
You're trying to make a show like The Talking Dead?
There's a lot of
episodes. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me. Are you going to be
right after the show? Let's jump right in.
Well, I mean, as close to right after the show as we can do, depending on our schedules. I know if I'm home from work and all that stuff. But for example, if Supergirl happens to air on a Wednesday night, we'll do the regular show, but we can also do. Oh, we'll figure it out.
Then what you're going to need to do is get the actors that play these parts, and we talk about that episode with the actors on the show.
Good luck with that.
That's not what the after shows do. They talk about the episode that they just saw. Did they discuss it? What did you think?
George, you just repeated what I said.
No, you said you have to get the actors. They don't do that.
Yeah, you get the actors. You ever watch The Talking Dead with Chris Hardwick? He gets the actors from the show to talk about the episode that they just watched.
That's very, very rare. Most of the after shows are just a group of hosts talking about what they just watched.
God. All right, I don't know what I'm talking about, George. I just watch it every week.
I'm not gonna, The Talking Dead, you're right about, but all the other after shows just have a group of
all the after podcasts, not shows.
Yeah, podcasts. I'm talking about a TV show.
Well, they call it They call them after shows. I'm just saying it's a thing. It's the genre.
He's being a douche, is what he's being.
Oh, okay.
He's trying to catch you up.
I already did, but he just won't. He just doesn't understand.
This is why I fired him. No, I'm just kidding.
That's fine.
It didn't stick though, did it?
That's fine.
No, if I fire him now, people go say, "Well, he was sick, and you just want,
No, he could fire me. It doesn't matter. I'll just go do another show.
Just make sure he files his TPS report.
I'll create my own show.
He's gonna be like, No, because then we're going to have an axe in our thing where Auntie's going to go to another podcast and tell them all her secrets. And...
I won't. There's nothing to tell.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I wouldn't do a show like yours because I'm not a copycat.
What am I copying?
I would be copying you if I were to do a show like yours. God, I have to explain everything.
You do.
You know what? You
well, he
can't
doesn't
fire
listen.
me.
See, he's talking so fast. He just talks, and then it takes a few seconds for his ears. Okay, we're no longer hearing our own voice. Now we actually have to hear somebody else's voice. And by that time, you're halfway through your sentence.
We should make a porn podcast called Fap Chat.
No.
No? Not a good idea?
I do not want to talk about porn with you on the air.
I was showing Raw. I'll just talk. I'm going to edit this out. But no, maybe I won't. I was showing Raw some 3D stuff. I was bored one day last week, and I just made some 3D porn.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Anthony Battles.
Anyways, yeah, it's just funny. That's
Save the porn talk for 602.
That's a good idea. All right, guys. Well, that was episode 29, and we will talk to you, if the show is still around, next time. Anthony, don't hit me! Ah!